Good evening and welcome to the Newshour agenda. I'm Madhavdas. Now, there's a massive showdown going on in Karnataka over the newly passed Hindu Religious Institutions and Charitable Endowments Amendment Bill in the Assembly. The BJP is up in arms against the bill, calling it an anti-Hindu bill that could lead to misuse of funds. Now, let's explain the causes that have caused controversy. The principal opposition party is, taking up the fact that the clause which mandates the government to collect 10% from temples that have revenue exceeding 1 crore and 5% from those which have revenue between 10 lakhs to 1 crore. Right-wing groups are opposing how can the bill allow for even non-Hindus to be part of the temple management. A sub-clause under section 25 in the bill reads that in case of composite institution, members from both Hindu and other religions may be appointed to the management committee. Another contention that is being raised is that contribution to the common pool fund from temples that can be utilized towards other purposes. The BJP has accused the Karnataka government of being anti-Hindu. It has equated the 10% levy on temples to jizya tax and asked why only Hindu temples are being taxed. The BJP has further alleged that Congress is looking to use funds collected from Hindu temples for other purposes.
ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಸಂಕಷ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಶ್ರೀಮಂತ ದೇವಾಲಯಕ್ಕೂ ಕೂಡ ಕನ್ನ ಹಾಕ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕೆಲಸ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ, ಮಾನ್ಯ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸಲಹೆನ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ. ದೇವಸ್ಥಾನದ ಹಣಕ್ಕೆ ಕನ್ನ ಹಾಕೋದ್ರ ಬದಲು ವಿಧಾನಸೌಧ ಮುಂದೆನೆ ಒಂದು ಹುಂಡಿ ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸರ್ಕಾರ ನಡೆಸೋಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಹಣಕಾಸಿನ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ವಿಧಾನಸೌಧದ ಮುಂದೆನೆ ಒಂದು ಹುಂಡಿಯನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಟರೆ ಬಹುಶಃ ಬಂದಂತ ದಾನಿಗಳು ಅಲ್ಲೇ ದಾನ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ.
आधुनिक काल का जिजिया लगाया जा रहा है. आधुनिक काल में अगर कोई औरंगजेब मानसिकता का एक परिचायक दे रहा है तो मुझे लगता है कि इस प्रकार से 10% का कर मंदिरों पर लगाना और वोट बैंक में बांटना, ये कांग्रेस पार्टी अपने हिंदू विरोधी चेहरे का एक और प्रमाण शायद देने के लिए उत्सुक है. और इसके पीछे कितना बड़ा वोट बैंक का कारण है, ये हम सभी लोग समझ सकते हैं.
And after BJP's stinging attack, the Congress government has clarified that the tax from temples for common pool fund has been collected since long. While earlier 10% tax applied for temples with revenue over 10 lakh rupees, now it will be applicable to temples with a revenue of over 1 crore rupees. In a detailed social media post, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah says that the mandate to create a common pool has been there since the enactment of the Act in 1997. He's asserted that the common pool fund is used for religious purposes connected with the Hindu religion only. The Chief Minister has also accused the BJP of trying to mislead people to polarize on communal lines.
This bill was first brought in by the BJP government. So let them actually tell what they have done in the last 4. They were in power for 4.5 years. Let them give out a list of what all they have done for the Hindus. No, they had a big issue with the Hanuma flag being brought down and the Indian flag being hoisted in Mandya. What did they do for Anjanadri hill, where the birthplace of Hanuman? We gave 100 crores. When I was the social welfare minister, I started I gave land and money of over 5-6 acres, and we had envisioned close to 150 crore Ramayana museum. What did these people do? Why didn't they do? Why didn't they even have the courtesy to put up lay a foundation stone? So these people use Hindutva or the Hindu gods only when there is election. Otherwise, they really are not bothered.
Hindu Religious Act. For this act in 2011, who was Chief Minister? Yediyurappa or Sadanandagowda. They brought some amendments. According to that amendment, in 2011, they started collecting money from B and C, D, A grade temples. This is not ours. This is BJP government bill. Only in 2 temples. One is Baba Budangiri. In BJP government, they nominated one Muslim. Why they nominated? And second one is Chodeshwari, Sadat Ali Dargah. Only 2 temples. For both 2 temples, Even BJP government nominated Muslims. They don't have any business now. They are in opposition. They want to bring a bad name. That's why all those people are doing like.
And first and foremost on the show, before we go across to our entire panel of guests, we have with us David Frawley, Vedic scholar. Mr. Frawley, I'd like to thank you so much for joining us. The BJP is opposing in Karnataka this amendment. The Congress government says it's not a new one. It's been around for about 2.5 decades or so. But the principal point where they are comparing this to a jizya or a medieval levy on those who don't adhere to a certain faith is what the BJP is saying. How do you view this? And is there a similar example across the world?
There is no similar example across the world. In the United States, UK, Australia, Canada, Hindus are a valid legal religion and there's no government interference in their funding. It's purely unto them. And the Karnataka government has been humiliating Hindus in various ways, like their honoring of Tipu Sultan, giving very little respect for the Ram Janmabhoomi, and also not even criticizing these other South Indian states like DMK asking for the eradication of Sanatana Dharma. They're in fact aligned with such groups. So it's a big issue on several different levels, but clearly the Karnataka government wants money from the Hindus and nothing else, and they're not willing to address the Hindu needs, and they're not even willing to give them pride. And there's many beautiful temples in Karnataka that they're not supporting either. So I think it's very important for them to recognize that Hindus are the majority. It's a culture there they need to recognize, and they can't just play this game of we take the money and do what we want, and then we blame the Hindus for not managing their temples properly.
Right. Two other points that have been made, which have been objected to, apart from, of course, the tax or the levy or whatever one chooses to call it, is A, the fact that non-Hindus can be part of the temple management. That is one thing that they're talking about. And also the fact the funds can be used for, quote-unquote, other religious institutions. Something that the government says only means Hindu religious institutions, but the actual copy or the word of the law is worded quite differently.
Yes, that is certainly the case. And they take the money from the Hindus and give the non-Hindus. Not only that, they're giving the money from the Hindus to religions who are trying to convert the Hindus. So they're actually undermining the Hindus in the process. It's really obviously a political vote bank that has no respect for the Hindu Dharma.
Right. And what would you say? Because here you have the Congress government which says that we've had this system for quite some time now. It's an unnecessary politics. What we've actually done is rationalize the tax slabs, which are what from 5 to 10 lakh. At 10 lakh above, there were 5% and 10% respectively. That has been changed from 10 to 1 crore and 1 crore plus that pay 5 and 10%. So the actual tax exposure comes down, is the argument coming in from the government side.
Well, that's no argument at all. They're just claiming that they can take whatever they want and they will change the statistics to suit what they want. But actually, they're not doing anything for the Hindus. They are exploiting them, dividing them up into vote banks, and also trying to turn other religions against them. So it's clearly a facade for what their own, and then they take the money for themselves and their own groups. It's very obvious.
All right. David Frawley, thank you so much for joining us and sharing with us your perspective in terms of examples or similar examples globally. Thank you so much. Let's open this up and take this across to our guests now. With us is Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP. Rahul Ishwar, activist, is with us. With us also is Lokesh Jindal, political analyst. Joining us also is Dr. Suman C. Raman, political analyst. But let me go first and foremost to Advocate Umer Junaidi, who's also a political analyst. Umer Junaidi, you heard Mr. David Frawley. You must have heard the BJP all day. They have said that this bill discriminates against Hindus. How can those who are not practicing the Hindu faith, for instance, be allowed to manage the temples of the Hindus?
Good evening, Madhav. First of all, I would like to say, and continuously I have been saying since the government in Karnataka has been formed by the government, the BJP doesn't have agenda, and that is the reason they are opposing each and every move of the Congress. If the Congress talks about the 5 guarantees, they oppose it. If the Congress talks about the development of Karnataka, they oppose it. And now the Congress It was a long pending demand since 1997, and the Congress amends the act and says only those temples who exceed the income of 1 crore should pay 10% of the tax and all, and these all things, the BJP now targets saying that Congress is getting the non-Hindus into the panel, into the temple trust and all. It is all nothing but the game to divert the people of Karnataka on the basis of religion, on the name of temples and all. It is far from the reality, and why there is a problem is the question. Why there is a problem when Congress does every good thing to the people of Karnataka and to the Kannadigas. BJP out of nowhere says that fund might be used to another...
Mr. Junaidi, I am reading out for you, page 6. This is the annexure, the first page of the annexure. This is point 19A. The administration of the Common Pool Fund. Please explain this to me, because this is a point which is being raised. And since you're an advocate, you can perhaps explain this better to our viewers. The Rajya Dharmika Parishad shall administer the Common Pool Fund subject to the conditions herein stated for the following purposes. 1. The grant of aid to any other religious institution which is poor or in needy circumstances. So this is what the BJP says, is that you have legally provided for the funds coming in from the common pool to be used for any other religious purpose. Can you explain that?
Madhav, interpretation of points are very different from your perspective and my perspective and from the perspectives of other. And we have seen that the budget allocated for some work at times get diverted to the different schemes or different agendas which...
No, what is the interpretation? Tell us your interpretation, sir. Please tell us, clarify.
Sir, the interpretation is it can in the needy circumstances. Is that compulsory that it will be given to other religious institutions? No,
sir,
it can
will it be the case? Will it be the case? Now, this is exactly the point that the BJP is making. They're saying, will it be the case that funds that are used to administer mosques or churches or, gurdwaras or whether it is Parsi places of worship or synagogues, will they be diverted to other religious places?
Let me. Sir, already the Muslim institutions pay the contribution to the Waqf board, that is 7%, and the fund given by the Waqf board is sufficient enough. It is sufficient enough at times when there is a requirement. The Waqf board gets the fund from the minority department and get the work done.
Okay.
So it is not...
Sanju Verma. Sanju Verma, respond to that. Even Waqf boards are paid 7%. This is not something that is exclusively there for Hindu places of worship, says Advocate Umer Junaidi. Please respond to him.
Madhav, first and foremost, I completely denounce what Umer Junaidi is saying. He's trying to mislead your audience by quoting wrong data and wrong figures. Point number 1. Point number 2. The amount of tax concessions that the Waqf board and Waqf properties enjoy is unthinkable. Point number 3, the amount of monthly stipend that the Maulanas and Maulvis get in the 3,000 odd masjids that are there in Karnataka is more than double of what the Hindu priests make. Most of the Hindu priests in Karnataka are living in abject penury and poverty. Point number 4, let us discuss the current amendment, the Religious Institutions Bill, which the Siddaramaiah government, it has made some amendments, be it clause 3, section 19A, section 25. You've given an excellent primer, Madhav. Basically, what the new amendments say is that you can have a composite management committee board comprising of non-Hindus. So while it is a Hindu temple, the management committee could comprise of 2 Muslims, 1 Parsi, 1 Christian, what have you. I want to ask Siddaramaiah, do you have the guts? There are about 3,000 odd masjids in Karnataka alone. Do you have the audacity, the gumption, the temerity to say that the masjid management committee will also have Hindus on their board? I'm sure you will never do that, because at the core of the Congress's vote bank politics is something called appeasement. My second point, if you look at the track record of the Congress, I will not take too long. I did not heckle you, please. Please, Mr. Junaidi, I did not heckle you. Keep quiet. I did not heckle you. Don't get so rattled. I know you're rattled. Please wait for 30 seconds.
Okay, complete your point.
If you recall, since June 2023, Every step that the Siddaramaiah government has undertaken, be it repealing the hijab ban, be it repealing the anti-conversion bill which sought to curtail love jihad, which was introduced by the outgoing BJP dispensation.
Yeah, we'll come to those. We'll come to those. Those are very controversial decisions.
Can I just finish?
Yeah,
Can I finish in 20 seconds,
we'll come to those points. I want to stick to the current issue at hand because you have said that, and this is certainly something that we'll be debating in just a few moments. Please bear with me, Sanju Verma. Okay, one second. You've talked about these decisions. These are certainly controversial decisions. Let me quickly bring in other panelists because there's also a limited time that we have. Let me bring in Suman C. Raman. Suman C. Raman, here's what B.Y. Vijayendra is saying. He is saying financial stress is causing the government to eye the revenue of temples. Is he right or wrong?
Okay. Madhav, I hope you'll give me uninterrupted time to make a few points. First of all, Mr. Siddaramaiah has given a very, very detailed explanation where he has debunked almost everything that has been said, and he has debunked it with facts. Okay, let me ask you a question. Now the Congress government wants to loot the temples. So can we infer that the previous BJP government was also looting the temples by collecting 5% for temples who were having income of between 5 and 10 lakhs and 10% from temples more than 10 lakh income? So are we in agreement that both governments were looting temples and Congress wants to increase the 10% for temples? No, I'm just asking, Madhav. I'm not able to understand what this rationale is. Let's assume the BJP government in Karnataka was not collecting money from the temples. I will entirely support you. But it's ridiculous. I mean, they have changed the slabs. That's all. And temples which now have income below 5 lakhs will not have any money taken
Sanju Verma.
away.
Okay,
Between
Sanju
5 and
Verma,
10
please
lakhs,
respond to
they will
this.
have 5%.
Was the previous BJP government not collecting tax as well? Only the slabs have been changed, says Dr. Suman C. Raman. Please respond to it.
One more point.
Mr.
One more
Raman,
point. Let me
please hold
finish.
your horses.
Let me
Madhav, I don't know why
finish.
you've
Let me
never
finish.
allowed the
Madhav,
BJP
1
to
minute.
rebut.
You have asked a
Madhav,
question, sir. You can respond to
I
her.
have to
Raman,
finish
can
my
you please
point.
be patient?
No.
You have asked a question.
Stop blabbering.
No, 1 second.
I'm asking the BJP the question that you are asking. You don't want a response?
Let me finish. I have one more question. Let her answer.
Okay,
that.
quickly make your point. Okay, quickly. 15 seconds. Quickly make your point, please. Yeah.
Any person who has a basic understanding of English will know other religious institutions is not the same as institutions of other religions. Other religious institutions means other temples, other institutions, not the same institution from which the money is collected.
Okay, you made your point. Suman C. Raman, thank you for the English lesson. Now let Sanju Verma please respond to both the points. Other religious institutions does not mean institutions of other religions. Please respond to it.
I will take 30 seconds. Suman C. Raman is what I call somebody who engages in classic whataboutery to digress from the issue. Having 5% tax or having 10% tax, you're doubling the tax payout. Point number 1. Point number 2, you're saying that no, I did not heckle you. Madhav, I refuse to debate. You can ask this man to continue speaking. You do not give the courtesy to the BJP, Madhav.
Okay. Suman, you made your point. You made your point. 1 second. Suman C. Raman, you made your point. You've asked both your questions. Now, please listen to the response. You can then respond to her. Sanju Verma.
Thank you. Suman C. Raman, I know my English very well and I know my economics and finance much better than you. Now listen. Having a 5% tax, but saying that the entire tax payout will be used to benefit Hindu institutions and not to benefit something like, say, Tippu Jayanti. There is a difference. You are saying you will collect thousands of crores from the 34,000 Hindu temples, but you will use the money to celebrate a jihadi like Tippu Jayanti and, whatever he did. Then you are saying that the tax outgo will not be 5%, it will be 10%, which is a doubling of the tax outgo. Then, to undermine the credibility of Hindus, you are saying that the management committee of temples will have non-Hindus. Tell me how many of the 3,000 masjids and mosques in Karnataka have Hindus as part of their management committees? I want you to answer that question. Tell me one masjid in Karnataka which has a Hindu on its management committee.
Okay, one by one, please. One by one.
One mosque in Karnataka which has a Hindu as part of its management committee.
Okay, you asked your question. I want Suman to respond to you. 1 second. Now, you asked your question. Suman wants to respond to you. Let him make his point. Yeah.
Mr. Siddaramaiah is on record categorically clarifying that they have not made any other change except revising the tax percentage between this. So 1 minute, 1 minute. He has. I don't think you have seen his tweet. How much has been spent? How much has been spent? Tell how much has been spent. Don't keep spreading fake news. The chief minister is on record. Chief minister has given a categorical statement. Don't spread hate. Don't spread hate. Don't spread hate. The chief minister has given on record. He says it will be used only for Hindu temples. It will be used only for Hindu institutions.
Okay. Let me come in now.
The Chief Minister of the state has in writing said it will be used only for Hindu institutions.
Yes, but the letter of the actual annexure is quite different, Suman Siraman. It has raised questions. We are debating it. Let's debate it. The BJP says it has enough reason to worry.
They should have done it earlier.
Okay, one second.
Congress government suddenly said other religious institutions.
I'm going to come to that point as well. That's a fair point. But let me bring in Rahul Ishwar. There are those who are saying that perhaps this concern should have been raised when the entire debate was going on. And they also say that the reason that this has been done is because there are composite institutions, although there are only two in this category, Baba Budangiri and Bhutaraya Chaudeshwari Temple. It is for that purpose that non-Hindus in administrative temple management has been brought in the first place. Rahul Ishwar.
Madhavji, two submissions. First of all, this is not a matter of politics, but there is a deep element of culture, spirituality and dharma involved. As a matter of principle, government taxing money from temple or church or mosque is absolutely wrong. India believes in secularism, and secularism means you need to have one arm's length with religion. Why is government actively taxing? That's the basic fundamental question that needs to be asked. It is a matter of truth that for the past 25 years it has been going on under various governments. The point is it should not be happening. If any other religious institutions, that means temple itself, will have to have fund, government needs to facilitate other means. For example, temples can have their own coordination. The politicians, when they are involving, it involves in interfering in religion, and that is against the spirit of Article 25 and Article 26. Both guarantee freedom of religion and freedom to run institutions according to the choice of the believers. So it's a basic fundamental premise that is beyond politics. Second, see, we all respect all religions. But unless for the two places where there is a composite nature, it will be antithetical to the very institution of one particular deity or believers that people from other faiths or sectors are coming. This even applies inside Hindu community, where there are Vaishnavites, where there are Shaivites. If a Vaishnavite is coming to rule a Shaiva temple, that may create not a positive atmosphere. So let us have sanctity for each space. And please remember, temple is not a public place. Temple is the private place for deity and devotees. And temple is the house of the deity. How that temple should be run should be according to the deity, not according to a political government. So the larger premise of Mukt Karo Mandir, which Timeso has been running, the larger premise of freeing temples should be discussed also along with this.
All right. In fact, Lokesh Jindal, you should come in on this. Why should temples be run by the governments in the first place? Why shouldn't they be freed administratively from the control of the government? Is a question that many are asking. It's a question that has been debated for some time now. And this is the reason that the BJP says that such a campaign exists in the first place. Lokesh.
Yes, good evening, Madhav. Madhav, there are about 35,000 temples under the Murzai department, and they are classified in three groups. There is a group A, whereby the temples, their income exceeds above 25 lakhs, and there are about 205 temples in Karnataka. Then comes group B, which are about 193, where their income is between 10 lakh to 25 lakh. And then there are group C temples whose income is below 10 lakh. Now these group A temples, they contribute 10% to the common pool fund. And the group B temples, they contribute only 5%. The rest of it is pooled by the government. Now this amendment has been introduced so as to give resources to the group C temples. Now the priest archakas in the group C temples, they do not have any insurance cover. Their children, they do not have educational facilities. And this amendment that has been brought about is to give them insurance cover, to give them benefits, to ensure that their children get good education, and also for the upliftment and development of Group C temples. And what you're talking about, that some form of jizya. So you must get the facts right. It was in 1997 this act was introduced by the Janata Dal government, and in 2011
Sir,
this was
fun
amended.
fact, Lokesh Jindal, you know where Mr. Siddaramaiah was in 1997? He happened to be the deputy CM.
Let me complete.
He was
Wait,
a deputy
let me
CM in the
complete. Let me
Janata Dal
complete.
government under
When
J.H.
this was
Patel as CM.
introduced- Wait,
Are you aware of
Madhav,
that?
when this was introduced, at that point of time, the BEAR Act clearly stated that there was a necessity so as to regulate and better administer the temples, and that is why this act was introduced. And if you look at all the provisions that are there in the amendment, they only make this act better. If the government was hell-bent upon increasing the resources, why did it increase the slab to 1 crore? Now, if it is increasing the slab to 1 crore, it is only going to bring about a reduction in the resources that would be collected by the state.
Yes, and this is what Priyank Kharge is also saying.
BJP opposing it.
This is what Priyank Kharge is also saying, and in fact, Dinesh Gundurao has also said that as far as the slabs are concerned, they have increased. So they have in fact been moved to a level where even temples, for instance, and listen to this, Sanju Verma, that are earning like 25 or 50 lakhs, they would have been earlier giving 10%. Now that has been reduced to 5%. And if this was such an objectionable provision, if there were two BJP regimes under Mr. Verma, earlier under Mr. Yediyurappa, why could this act not have been amended then, if this is such an objectionable act?
Okay, let me now make this very clear. You know, currently it is Siddaramaiah and the Congress which is in power in Karnataka. When I sit on debates, I am asked why Yogi Adityanath did not do this or did not do that. You know, you don't ask questions to the opposition like Samajwadi Party or the Congress, but more importantly...
I have just asked a dozen questions to them, madam.
No, not you as in you, Madhav, as in third person. I'm sorry, I should have made that clear. Not you, Madhav. I'm talking
Thank you very much for the clarification.
Thank you, yes. Now let me make one very interesting observation because Lokesh has given some hard facts. The Karnataka budget was presented recently. They raised the money for restoration of Waqf properties from 100 crores to 200 crores. They raised the funding for development of Christian community related properties from 120 crores to 393 crores. They have allocated 500 crores for the construction of a Hajj Bhavan in Mangalore, and for the fee reimbursement of minority students, another 670 crores. In addition to these funds given to Muslims and Christians, they have also allocated 135 crores to miscellaneous minorities. They have not allocated a single penny to the priests in temples, but they have made a provision raising the monthly stipend to imams, Maulanas and Maulvis from 3,500 crore to 6,700 crores over the next 3 to 4 years, as the case may be, and they have said they will try and ensure that, you know, the 6,700 crores is paid at regular intervals depending on how the situation unfolds. A state which says we don't have money to pay 10 kg of free rice, which they had promised, has allocated 6,700 crores for the salaries of Maulanas, Imams and Maulvis. And you are sitting here and telling me that sab changasi in Karnataka? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, all right. Umer Junaidi wants to respond to you. I'm going to allow him now. Umer Junaidi, double standards of the government of the day at a time when it is under financial stress because of the guarantees that were promised during the polls. Please respond to Sanju Verma.
Madhav, people like Sanju Verma come on the debate just to spread hatred and spill poison and divide people on the basis of religion.
Yes,
Sanju Verma said that... Okay, let me speak.
Okay, no personal comments. No personal comments. Let's say this. For everyone, no personal comments.
Did I disturb you?
Okay. Umer Junaidi, Sanju Verma, let him make his point. Let him make his point. No personal comments. Please. Yes. Umer Junaidi. No. Please, no personal comments. Umer Junaidi.
No, he started it.
Let's end it here, please. Yeah.
Or the salary given to the Maulanas and Maulvis are from the contributions of the Waqf board, not from the temple, the funds of the temple. First thing. Second thing, she said, Sanju Verma.
No, let him make his point, Sanju Verma. You can respond to him. Let him at least speak. Let him at least make his point. Yeah.
Don't you want to hear the reality?
6,700 crores is being provided by Siddaramaiah.
Okay. That is your perspective, ma'am. We have heard you. Now let's listen to the other side. Umer Junaidi. Okay, Umer Junaidi, make your point now. Please go ahead.
I'm stating hard facts.
Sanju Verma said the Congress want to use the funds of the temple to celebrate Tipu Jayanti. When the Tipu Jayanti was celebrated by the usage of funds given by the temples, No, she's here. The BJP is here in Karnataka just to spread hatred. Let me
Sanju Verma, this is now you are heckling him. Let us not do this, please. He has a right to put across his point of view. You have a right to respond to him. But let's not have this kind of cross debate. Yes.
Madhav, this is the reality of BJP. They don't have agenda to talk on. They don't want to hear to the government. They don't want to hear what is good. And they just want to divert the public, divert the people of Karnataka as well as the India on the basis of religion. Now, the point is very clear. The government of Karnataka has increased the tax slab. Has increased the slab from 10 lakh to 1 crore.
And
right. From what? You are the Murat of Sachai, yaar. Let me complete.
No, Sanju Verma, no personal comments. No, this is not correct. This is not correct. This is not acceptable at all, Sanju Verma. I'm sorry. I have to object. This is not correct. You cannot call people such names. No, he has not called you any personal name like this. He is responding to you. And I have said this repeatedly. This is not, we do not endorse any such labels being given to any panelist. This is actually very unfortunate. Sanju Verma, please apologize to Umer Junaidi. This is not correct.
No, I'm not going to apologize.
No, then this is not right. No, this is not right, madam. You cannot call anyone such a name. And I would not allow anyone to call you a name also on this kind of a show. But this is absolutely unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. We certainly don't endorse this view. We certainly don't endorse this view. We certainly don't endorse this view. But I want to quickly. No. This is not correct. This is not correct, Sanju Verma. This is absolutely not correct. You cannot call a personal word like this to any individual on the panel. He is talking about, everyone has a right to their opinion. He has a right to his. Let me quickly take this across to Dr. Subansi Raman. Dr. Subansi Raman, Rajiv Chandrasekhar, Union Minister, says that money taken from temples are to feed the ATM requirements of Congress. Money from temples have been sought to be given to contractors. This is Union Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar.
Rajiv Chandrasekhar perhaps doesn't remember the contractors who were committing suicide and who were holding press conferences complaining about 40% Sarkar Raj when the BJP was in power. But Madhav, let me again say that what Sanju Verma has just said is completely unacceptable and she must apologize. I'm sorry, this is not acceptable on primetime television, and allowing this to go on like this is...
No, I said so, sir. I said so myself. It is unacceptable.
No, she's not apologized. She said, I will not apologize.
Yes.
She said, not apologize. Yes. She has to apologize. Wrong. What he said is completely unacceptable.
I agree with you. It is not acceptable. I will not allow anyone from any other panelist also to call a name to any individual like this. This is completely unacceptable.
Can I point out one thing?
Yeah. Rahul Ishwar.
Can I point out?
No. This is not an acceptable word. This is not an acceptable word at all.
Submission.
Yes.
Umer Junaidi, just one submission. Umer Junaidi Saab, I totally disagree with what you have said, but I will never call you such a name, and I'm sorry that you had to hear that. Second, more important point, please think about this basic premise, whether government should be able to tax temples, churches or mosques, or whether government should keep one arm distance. Whether it be A government, B or C government, doesn't matter, because when government is interfering in religion, it naturally creates a bad blood, it naturally creates a worse reaction, and these are the things that we should be wary of. And under Article 25 and 26, it is categorical. It's a fundamental right guaranteed by Indian Constitution, where we have the right to profess our faith, right to run institutions. When government comes and take that money, how is it fair? How is it right? Whether it is any government, whether it belongs to one party or the other party. So let us debate on this fundamental and debate on the larger point, which should not be forgotten at this point.
Yes, and in fact, Umer Junaidi, at the end of the day, the point is this. The point is that, one can debate this. When you say that people only want to spread hate by bringing up such a debate, they also could be talking about the genuine rights of who they believe are the worshippers or followers of the Hindu faith. So let's not get into labeling people also. That is also not correct, Umer Junaidi.
No, the point I said about the Waqf institution, she says, I am lying on the facts. I say the Congress government has increased the slab. She say it's wrong, it's false data. It is nothing but the spreading of hatredness on the channel, Madhav. At least you listen to the facts.
You say that she's factually incorrect, sir. You say that somebody is factually incorrect.
No, it is not true that the Congress has increased the tax slab from 10 lakhs to 1 crore. What is wrong in it? And she says Tipu Jayanti was celebrated. When did Tipu Jayanti was celebrated by the usage of the funds from the temple? And she says the stipend or the salaries or the honorariums of the Maulanas and Maulvis is given from the funds of the temples.
No, there is possible misuse of it. There is possible misuse of it, is what the BJP is saying, because the entire manner in which this law is written, keeping it open to other religious institutions, allowing management to people of other religions, all of these are questions that certainly come in. We'll have to end this debate over here. I'd like to thank all our panelists for joining us: Lokesh Jindal, Umer Junaidi, Suman Siraman, Rahul Ishwar, and Sanju Verma.